thank you to everybody for coming over, particularly the folks that have traveled, you know, from Brunswick and Albany and Savannah and Columbus and Macon and anywhere else in the state that you came from. We really appreciate your making the extra effort to be here in connection with the annual dinner. It is it's special for us, and we hope that you have a good evening tonight. The game plan is we're going to eat. The bars are supposed to stay open continuously. This is a group of lawyers, and that's one of the wonderful things about our profession. And then after we do all of that, you should have the program. We'll get into the program and go through all the specifics. As I was standing here tonight, it occurred to me that there are some things that aren't on the program, and that's fine, because I refer to it as calling audibles. And I started to think a little bit about the fact that, you know, one of my favorite folks, and I'm sure a guy who was special to a lot of people here, was David Butler. David was a special guy, and David was the first person ever that said to me at a meeting, would you please say the blessing before lunch? And I looked like I didn't grow up doing that way. But that always stuck with me, and that was part of my acclimation over 44 years to the South, my adopted home that I love very much. So in memory of David, some people will be more familiar with this than others, but you know, thank you, God, for enabling us and sustaining us and providing us the opportunity to come together this evening in fellowship, in camaraderie, to celebrate what we do in trying to be leaders in the bar and to work with each other and enabling us to get to this joyous and special occasion. So, l'chaim, and with that, we can eat.
My name's Paul Bonifel. I think everybody here knows me because I've been around so long. It's been my honor to serve as president of the Inn, the W. Homer Drake Jr. Bankruptcy Inn of Court, and I've been the fourth one. It's a relatively new concept, but I've had the honor of being the president. Maybe I shouldn't tell this because Judge Smith will be the president next year, and he may not want me to let everybody know this, but this is a great job because the lawyers do everything. So it's been my honor to do that and to work with Grant Stein and the other members of the board. So, and it's also my privilege to get this is actually the annual meeting of the Inn. Do I need to talk louder? Yes. How's this? Okay. So, should I start over? That was red, friends.
Hold on until you know next.
Do what? Oh, okay. I forgot where I was.
Great job. Lawyers do the work.
Ansley Court. I'm Judge. Marsh must not have any fee applications pending. Anyway, first order of business. I want to echo Grant's comments about thanking everyone for being here, especially those who've come from remote areas. He identified some of them: Savannah, Brunswick, Macon. I think he left Rome. He left out Rome. He left out East Cobb. He left out Sandy Springs and Buckhead. Dunwoody. But anyway, thank you all for coming. Kathy Horn, I'll quote her, she said, you know, there are really a lot of nice folks here. And it's so true because there are so many nice folks here, and it is important that those nice folks who do a lot of work for the bankruptcy bar and bench in the state of Georgia get together, and that, in fact, is one of the purposes of the Inn, is to encourage collegiality, to encourage that type of camaraderie and respect and socialization among, am I fading again? I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Would someone write that down? That's the first time she has complimented me.
It wasn't a compliment.
And it wasn't a compliment. I would like to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors. In the early days of the Inn, we really didn't have too many sponsors, and it was touch and go about how various things got paid for. It has been a delight to watch the Inn grow and to have contributions from sponsors, and they are Alston & Bird, Kilpatrick Townsend, Morris, Manning & Martin, and King & Spalding, and they have made a significant contribution to the financial stability of the Inn, and we're most grateful for that. I've almost said, and I do have to say one thing seriously about the mission of the Inn, and it is I think probably my favorite quote from John Adams, which is, "A civilized society cannot exist without lawyers." And that is so true, and it is especially true in the bankruptcy world. Our bankruptcy world could not exist without lawyers. We have a tremendous amount of things that have to get done. We have a complicated law, and without the lawyers and the ability of the lawyers to help get it done, it would be a disaster. In a global sense, what John Adams was talking about was the rule of law. And the rule of law, obviously, is critical to what we have as citizens, what we have as human beings in the United States of America. All you have to do is look at any number of countries, name them, where the rule of law does not obtain. Ours is not perfect, but we do have a rule of law. And it is critical to the maintenance of that rule of law that the public have confidence in the judges and in the judicial system. And it is you lawyers who do that. Without you lawyers, the judges alone can't do it. So that's the purpose of the Inn, is to promote the rule of law by promoting excellence and professionalism in the practice. So those of you you're all here. Thank you for being here. It indicates that you are dedicated to that proposition, and I deeply appreciate it and encourage you to do the same next year and the year after that so that this marvelous program can continue. With that, I will turn it over to the person who has done all the work this year, which is Grant Stein, who is the counselor.
I need something to stand on. But I'll just be a second. We're going to start the business meeting of the Inn, which is part of what we do, because I got the way we were going to handle the program. Everyone should have a program or an agenda at their table for each of you, but I got this from Kathy, and this is what she did last year, so we're doing the same thing, which means, Mr. Stone, our treasurer, we need our financial report, and I'm going to ask you to join me. Thank you.
As bankruptcy lawyers, I think you will all appreciate that the Inn meets the solvency test. I'm pleased to report that we have total income this year of $33,925, which represents $29,550 in dues and $4,000 in sponsorship and $375 in miscellaneous. Total expenses were $14,087.20. leaving us a net income of $19,837.80. but I think Grant probably has spent a good portion of that tonight. As of the present time, we have in the bank a balance of $43,288.36. So we are indeed in good shape. Thank you.
The next presentation is from our president-elect, and shortly will be our president. And as Kathy explained to me, a thankful moment that will be. Walter, here you go. Sorry, Counselor.
That's right. Well, I don't know whose this one is, but we'll put it over here. Well, Grant was very kind to publish these 16-page amended bylaws, which you're welcome to read if you want to. However, would you rather hear the takeaway? Thank you, sir. Number one, the takeaway. The effective date will be June the 1st of this year. The second thing that we're doing is adding that the executive, sir, the executive committee and in coordination with the mentoring committee selects the pupils on the recommendation of law professors or on written applications. Anybody that you know that would do a great job, we'd like to hear from you. And unless otherwise authorized by the Board of Trustees of the Foundation, the president shall be selected from the judges of the 3 districts, and the counselor may be a master from the same district as the president. No president shall be selected from the same judicial district as his or her immediate predecessor, unless no such candidate is willing and able to serve, in which case that requirement may be waived. Does anybody have any questions about that? Thank you, sir. Do I hear a motion? Well, there are 2 more. Wait a minute. Well, those pass, so that's good. But the rest of them really don't mean anything, so we're just going to skip over that. Okay. Having heard the motion and the second, I think they're approved. All in favor? I hold in my hand these ballots that you cast earlier. If you have failed to cast your ballot, you may still do so, but it won't make any difference because all of these are yes ballots. So there's no way you can screw this thing up. All the bylaws are approved, the amendments, and the president-elect is me, but I'm the counselor. But Jim Smith is going to be the president, and I will be the counselor. Does anybody have any questions about that? Grant?
Thank you. I don't like this. Yeah. Walter, thank you. And the next item on the agenda is the executive committee report, which I get to do. We have had a productive year in the inn as we continue to grow and learn. And the reason it's been a good year is we've had tremendous judicial involvement this year, and the members of the inn, we continue to penetrate and more people get involved with what we're doing. Our inn is based on having substantial judicial involvement and the investment of time that we all put in to trying to grow and mentor quality young lawyers that will practice in our bankruptcy courts. And we've been about that this year, and we think that's gone well. Tonight in particular, to send the message to all of us about the significance of what we do is the fact that Judge Coleman is with us from Savannah. And I saw you earlier, but
Table 8.
there you are. Got it. I should have my, there we are. Judge Laney is here from Columbus. Judge Smith, Judge Carter, and Judge Walker are here from Macon. And Judges Bonifel, Bezier, Cavender, Ritchie Craig, Deal, Ellis Monroe, and Murphy are all with us from Atlanta. And we have clearly a very strong turnout, and it's appreciated by all of us that we've got 13 judges here that have been involved in what we do this year. I want to thank in particular David Wender and Anna Humnicki. David handled all the arrangements for dinner tonight. I say David, the truth is that it was David and his wife Jamie who handled the logistics, and I hope that most of you got to meet Avery and Harrison tonight, who are handling the check-in table, and that was pretty neat for them. Anna did the seating chart, and coming up with a seating chart that would disperse everybody and try and get us spread out so that we didn't have Atlanta people with Atlanta people and Savannah folks with Savannah folks and all the judges sitting together. She did a wonderful job putting that together, and I have no responsibility for it at all. So Anna, thank you very, very much. It's appreciated. Over the course of the year with the events that we have, and we've had 6 physical events and 1 just virtual event this past year, whenever we do anything social, it's Joy Webster and Rob Williamson that have taken the laboring oar on that, put that together, make sure that it runs smoothly. And as all events where lawyers are, we have alcoholic libations at the end, and they make sure that that runs smoothly. And it's very appreciated for Joy, who's not here tonight, and for Rob, who is. And thank you, Rob. The mentoring committee, which is Colin Bernardino, Jim Drake, and Alex Sanders, they basically go out to the law schools, connect with the law schools, and get the law schools to identify us, the students, we refer to them here as pupils, from each of the law schools that we're going to have. And we've had 3 from each of the 5 Georgia law schools. One of the amendments tonight that has been approved facilitates our growing that to 4 from each of the Georgia law schools. This is significant for these youngsters. It's significant when they're there. Several of them go on to become judicial law clerks because of the people they get to meet and the things they get to see. And we travel around to the various law schools in the state. This year we did a program at Georgia State. In fact, we've been at every single law school in the state at one point or another with one of our programs. So to Colin and Jim and Alex, thank you very much for what you all have done. The program committee is chaired by Neil Gordon. It includes Todd Myers, Byron Meredith, Brad Patton, Rich Thompson, David Wender ex officio. Why? Because we do a program with the State Bar of Georgia, and David has been involved and is involved in that again this year in planning the State Bar Annual Seminar that we will integrate with and have one of the programs at. And my partner, Jonathan Edwards, who isn't here tonight, who's made the arrangements at his alma mater at Mercer for the program that we're going to be doing in the Middle District this coming January, actually January 25th. So every one of these folks has had hands-on responsibility at some point in the last couple of years for putting one of our programs together. It's what we're about as we evolve, is the educational programs and the social programs we do. That's part of what we're about too, and I'll come back to that. So thank you very much to the program committee. In connection with that, there are others that have done a lot of work connected to the program committee. I mentioned Anna Humnicki already tonight, and the reason I went to that well again is because of the work that she and Katie Furr and Austin Jowers, who I know is here tonight, did with 3 of our pupils from Georgia State, Isaac Godfrey, Jeremy Betts, and Taylor Koshak. They put together our program in January, and for anyone that was there you know that it was a discussion group, small tables with a diverse group, kind of like what we had here, which is why I knew Anna could do it. And it was an excellent program, the brainchild, if you will, of Judge Bonifel, of ways for us to stop going top down and trying to go bottom up with our educational programs, and we think that's important to our continued development. Alyssa Watley, who's not able to be here tonight because she's got to be at a family event up in Rome, but she basically is the lead person for MacBag. And for everyone that doesn't know what MacBag is, that's the Metropolitan Atlanta Consumer Bankruptcy Attorney Group. They've been doing what we're about for about 25 years now. They have been a mentoring organization in the consumer area for years and years, and she got to be with her old professor, Jack Williams, for our program with MacBag this past year, did a tremendous job. Jack had to leave tonight, but he did come to drink with us. I will note that. You know, things are more important than Shabbos sometimes. So they did a great job in talking about our programs. One of the things that we learned by accident when Kathy Horn said, hey, Grant, you didn't think about this, is that we did decentralized programs. We did a couple of social programs, not always, you know, having a panel or lectures, where we would just get together socially. So Andrew Deacle put one together in Savannah because we don't have any law schools in Savannah that are connected to the inn. And he put this program together at the Prohibition Museum. Kathy sent me pictures, and I thought about bringing big blow-ups, and then I decided, but what if I appear in front of those judges? So I changed my mind and didn't. They were pretty great, and Andrew, thank you for doing that. I'm looking around to see, I know you're here. There you are. Thank you. It was great, and I know that you and Byron are going to be doing that again this year. It's important, and the idea is to get together with the pupils where possible and just with us and all the people across all the age groups to interface with the older lawyers and, more importantly, the judges, because at the end of the day, that's who the young lawyers want to hear from and learn from, and that's with good cause. Our pro bono and community outreach committee, which is Judge Coleman, Fife White side, Steve Greenberg, who is on his way to San Diego for the birth of a grandchild, and Valerie Richmond. They have done several things over the years, and they've been working this year to connect us to one of the pro bono opportunities that we can have people become involved with. On the technology and national awards side, Dennis Conley and Dave Berry have been involved in that. I mean, the fact that I've got this light, how pleasant can that be? And I'm getting videos so that we can get this all on the internet, and you can watch me again and again and tell your friends to watch. That's because Dave and Dennis, Dave in particular, do a great job making that happen. The last few areas I'm going to cover is what a joy it's been, Paul. I'm sorry. Coach Bonifel. I'm sorry. Judge Bonifel, because I know him all those ways. To be able to work with you this year, to have you provide leadership and direction and guidance. And I don't know what it's like with Barbara, but I listen to you. and we executed on your strategy for this year and made some changes, and it's really been a pleasure, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to give Judge Bonifel credit for the fact that we have all the judges here tonight, because he's a nudge, and he, I hope, helped make sure that, I know made sure that y'all were here, and thank you in that regard. Jim Frenzel, I still can't believe you figured this thing out and came up with this idea and then executed on it, not because you can't, but because it was such a great idea. In the vision you had, which is there's only 2 or 3 like this in the country, of a statewide inn, that we would be able to work together across the entire state and do these things and coordinate and have contact with us, each other this way. It's tremendous, and that's appreciated, and that's part of my executive committee report. So thanks. And lastly, to Judge Drake, as part of my executive committee report, you have set an example to all of us and for all of us, and mentored everyone in the room, directly or indirectly, for over 50 years. It's what you've been about from the day you first got on the bench, and if my memory's right, that's back in 1964, the first time. You, Your Honor, are the living embodiment of what the Inn is about, which is professionalism, civility, and excellence. That's what we're supposed to be about achieving. That's why the Inns were created, except you were doing it 20 years before Justice Berger got this idea in the 1980s. You'd been at it. We appreciate it. The idea that Jim and others came up with of naming the Inn for you, dead on. And I appreciate the opportunity to have led the Inn for the past year to honor you in that way. It's been very special for me. I get to stay up. I'm not going to walk through the calendar of events. The part of what we were told we needed to do and then figured out how to do from Judge Richie Craig, who was in the middle of doing it and then got on the bench, was plan your year a year in advance. Figure out what you're going to do before you actually do it so that you're not having to run and catch up. And if you look in the program, you'll see we have a full year of quality events planned. I'm not going to walk through those. We're close enough. Everyone has had dessert. Everyone's having coffee. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Trish and then let Trish talk. So I wanted to make sure, Judge Bonifel in particular, that's what I said. He tells me what to do, I execute. Make sure that when she spoke, we'd be able to not be eating dessert and otherwise pay attention.